from generation to generation. A Pakistan wedding is the ultimate celebration of love in this rich culture. After researching weddings in Pakistan, I have learned that there are many aspects that go into planning a Pakistan wedding. Today, I would like to focus on what happens on each of the 4 days of this wedding ritual. Let's start by looking at day 1 of the 4-day celebration. Day 1 is called the Mayun. This day, the Pakistani people dress in yellow, and all their friends and family dress in yellow as well. The bride and groom do not see each other until the wedding, and this is very typical in American culture as well. They celebrate separately at their own homes. There's a lot of singing and dancing that takes place during day 1. While this day was very, very special, day 2 is just as fun-filled. Now, day 2 is called the Mendi. There is also a celebration with food, music, and dancing. Henna is also used. Henna is drawn on the hands and the feet of the bride and the groom. There's also a delivery of wedding attire. The bride's family would deliver the groom's attire to the groom. The groom's family would deliver the bride's attire to the bride. Also, there's lots of games that are played. One of the games started from Katrina Blue of Ehau. The groom's family brings trays of henna and sweets to the bride's family and to the bride, and they dance around the bride. And also, sometimes a competition might break out, and they would see who's the better dancer, the bride's family or the groom's family. So this is kind of a fun game. Now, after 2 fun-filled days of celebration, day 3 is the day of the extravagant ceremony. Day 3 is called Shadi and Nikah. Shadi is the ceremony, Nikah is the signing of the papers. In Pakistani culture, the bride would wear red. In American culture, brides typically wear white. The bride's family is responsible for the ceremony and everything that goes into it with planning, as usually that's how it is here in the United States. The bride's family takes care of expenses in planning, etc. The food, basically it's primarily meat. There's lamb, and also roasted fowl is very popular. Games are also something that happens. One of the games that happens is called Barat, where the groom's family arrives at the wedding, and they usually have a band in place with them. And it's one of the traditions that the bride's sisters would stop the groom's family from coming in unless they pay an acceptable amount of money. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And also another game that's played on the wedding day is called Jahudi. Jahudi is stealing of the groom's shoes for money. Generally, the bride's sisters or friends will try to steal the groom's shoes, and the grooms will have to pay an acceptable fee for having his shoes back. And now that the vows and the bride and the groom are now married, and the 4th and final day is spent as man and wife, this 4th day is called Valima. Valima is the gathering of the friends and family so that the friends and family accept the bride and groom as a couple. There is a feast at the groom's house. Uzain Hay Manzer of Exine Articles says that the feast is held at the groom's house. They dress And usually the groom has a Western attire on, a tuxedo or a suit. The bride will wear pastel colors and has lots and lots of gold jewelry on. Um, as far as games go on the Velima, um, there's a game where they would take one of the rings and submerge it in milk and water, and whoever finds the ring in the milk and water, the bride or the groom, is said to be the dominant spouse, which is kind of funny and nice. Um, as we do in American culture, they do have a honeymoon, which lasts generally from 5 to 7 days. Um, and this is, taking time out to enjoy each other, because a lot of times they do go back home afterwards and live with the groom's family. So we have covered all 4 days of the celebration of the Pakistani wedding traditions. Now let's wrap this up. Like American weddings, the Pakistani wedding celebration is very well planned and thought out. We both hold many of the same traditions, but the length of the ceremony and certain rituals are different. Whether you have a 4-day long ceremony or a 1-day ceremony, a wedding is a day that can be remembered for the rest of our lives. The coming together of two families and the surrounding ourselves of family, friends, and love is the most important factor. In conclusion, every culture has many customs or rituals that are similar and different. Pakistani weddings are beautiful and rich in culture. These ceremonies will not soon be forgotten. Thank you.